So as war is raging in the Middle East, and we're dealing with all sorts of serious issues, Republicans are intent on embarrassing themselves. So there's been all of this speaker drama. We covered every detail of it. So you had Kevin McCarthy, who was ousted by, I believe, a gaggle of 8 idiots led by Matt Gaetz. It was like 97% of the Republican caucus supported McCarthy remaining speaker, but they were able to oust him by like 8 of them flipping on him. Well, since then, we've gone through a list of, all right, who's going to be our leader? Steve Scalise. Let's go with Steve Scalise. And he doesn't have the votes. Jim Jordan. Let's go with Jim. Not only does he not have the votes, he doesn't even have as many votes as Scalise had, and Scalise didn't even have as many votes as McCarthy had. And now we're just going down the list, down the list, down the list, down the list. So now, Republican House Whip Tom Emmer, he was the one that they all settled on the other day. They had an internal vote. He got the most votes of all the candidates, but there were still, I believe, 27 people who were like, I'm not voting for Tom Emmer. Okay. So now let's see, well, what issue or issues do all these other Republicans have with this guy? So let's start with this one. This is CNN correspondent talking to Representative Rick Allen and asking him, do you support Tom Emmer? Why not? Listen to this.
Concerned are you about his vote on same-sex marriage?
Very concerned.
Could you vote against him?
Yes.
Would you? Are you gonna? Is there any way you would vote for him?
No.
So the reason this guy doesn't like Tom Emmer, and he's like, I'd never vote for him, is because Tom Emmer voted for basically a compromise bill to secure gay marriage rights. Now, technically, it makes it so that if there's a religious institution that doesn't want to marry you, they can't be forced to marry you, but your right to get married would still be protected by law. And so it was a way, because, when they threw out Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court was like, maybe we should do gay marriage next. And so the Senate sort of whipped into shape and they passed a gay marriage bill, which would protect it even if the Supreme Court overturns gay marriage. And this guy voted for the compromise bill, Tom Emmer, and this guy's like, I would never vote for him because he supports gay marriage. Oh my God. Homie, the year is 2023. 2023. Could you imagine, it's like voting against interracial marriage in 1992, right? I'm against race mixing. Jesus Christ, man, what the hell? All right, so there's one issue that these guys have with him. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's going to weigh in as well. Let's see what she says.
But I couldn't support him for Speaker of the House. His voting record is what turned me. He had voted against President Trump's ban on transgenders in the military.
So he's in favor of allowing trans people to join the military. And because of that, I could never support him. Oh, my God.
Voted for the Democrats' gay marriage bill that opens up churches and other places for lawsuits if they use their faith and stand against it. He was for the national popular vote at one time, and that's not a movement I can support.
So he supports gay marriage, and he thinks the presidential candidate with the most votes should win the election. Oh, these things are all terrible. He doesn't despise trans people. He's okay with gay people. And he thinks that democracy should be one person, one vote. Disgusting, Tom Emmer. Disgusting.
How much did Emmer's vote to certify the 2020 election have to do with the opposition against him?
Well, it played a big role for me. I voted to object, and I don't think that was a fair election. I think there was a lot of election fraud.
So, in other words, he voted to secure the 2020 election to say, yeah, Biden won. And she's like, bro, unacceptable. Oh my God, these people are psychos. So look, word is, behind the scenes, Emmer was kissing Trump's ring. And he's like, look, you're the leader of the party. You're up in the presidential race. You're going to be our nominee. I support you. Will you support me? He was playing the political game behind the scenes. Shaking the right hands, patting the right back, sucking off the right ball sacks. This is what Tom Emmer was doing. And Trump apparently was like, hey man, I got nothing against you. I'm going to go ahead and stay neutral on this. Let's see how it plays out. So after we learned that the Republican caucus, more votes were for Emmer than anybody else, Trump jumps in. I have many wonderful friends wanting to be Speaker of the House, and some are truly great warriors. Rhino Tom Emmer, who I do not know well, is not one of them. He respected the power of a Trump. He never respected the power of a Trump endorsement or the breadth and scope of MAGA, Make America Great Again. He fought me all the way and actually spent more time defending Ilhan Omar than he did me. He is totally out of touch with Republican voters. I believe he has now learned his lesson because he is vying that he is pro-Trump all the way. But who can ever be sure? Has he only changed because that's what it takes to win? The Republican Party cannot take that chance because that's not where the America First voters are. Voting for a globalist rhino like Tom Emmer would be a tragic mistake. So people think this is what finally tanked Emmer. He was going to work on trying to get those 27 votes he didn't have. But Trump comes out and says this, stabs him in the back and twists the knife. And then 2 minutes later, Emmer's like, all right, I give up. I'm not going to go for it. So this is what happened with Scalise. This is what happened with Jordan. Now this happens with Emmer. Oh my God. All right. GOP Pennsylvania Representative Fitzpatrick says some oppose Emmer because he voted to certify the 2020 election. Okay? Just to remind everybody who we're dealing with here. So Emmer's here. He voted to certify the election for Arizona, certified for Georgia. He was against impeaching Trump. He was for the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. He was against the January 6th Commission, against the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, against the Violence Against Women Act, against capping out-of-pocket insulin costs at $35 a month. He voted against the PACT Act, which was healthcare for veterans exposed to toxic burn pits, against red flag laws and the bipartisan gun control bill, against ensuring the right to contraception, against the Chips and Sciences Act. But since he was for that gay marriage bill, and he voted to avert the default, and he voted to certify the election, these people are all turning on him. Okay, so then we get this. Emmer steps down. We get this. This is from NBC News. Former Speaker McCarthy is floating a plan that would reinstall him as Speaker and make conservative Trump ally Representative Jordan Assistant Speaker. 3 sources familiar with the pitch, Tell Me and Scott Wong. So we've now come full circle where they're like, back to McCarthy, but give Jordan some power too. I don't think that's a bad idea to move forward, but I think still the most likely scenario would probably be taking the guy who's acting speaker, which is McHenry, and giving him more expanded powers. So like default to the status quo, which is McHenry. That's what I think is likely. But then, so this was floated last night, and then we also get this. Representative Mike Johnson out of nowhere. They go, all right, let's go with Mike Johnson. This is such a clown car show. Clown car show. I could have said clown show. I could have said clown car. I went with clown car show. That doesn't even make sense. All right. This guy, Mike Johnson, he's literally like an AI-generated Republican. First of all, his name is like an AI-generated Republican. Second of all, you'll see what he looks like in a second. AI-generated Republican. Here's some of his positions. He's the architect of the House effort to overturn the election. Oh, that's good. Was on Trump's legal defense in both impeachments. He supports national abortion bans. Wants to ban same-sex marriage. Thinks weed is a gateway drug. Wow. So they do this press conference. By the way, this is him in the middle here. Mike Johnson, is that his name? Mike Johnson, ridiculous name. It's Bob Anderson, generic ass Republican name. So here he is in the middle, right? Look at this back and forth with reporters. So a reporter's going to say, you helped lead the effort to overturn the 2020 election result. And look at how these the Republicans react. By the way, you've never seen a whiter photo than this in your life. There's all white. All right, look at the reaction when they bring this up. Watch.
Mr. Johnson, you helped lead the efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. Will you
Next question. Next question.
So this woman here who is screaming, shut up, I think her name is Virginia Fox. She's like the head of the education committee. Oh my God. God, I hate these people so much. Like, wait, it's a fact that he did that. So what are you triggered for? And you guys say you think the election was stolen, so own it. Stand up there and own it. And said, shut up, fake news media. No, you guys are fake. Because you guys are wrong about the election, but you push this bogus narrative. By the way, they got hurt at the ballot box as a direct result of this. Their Roe v. Wade extremism and their election denialism. So you know what? Ads can be cut left and right with the way these Republicans have been reacting and with this total Republican disarray trying to pick a speaker. One more time.
Johnson, you helped lead the efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. Will you
Next question.
Don't give us facts about things we do that are bad and wrong. Shut up, poop face, poop. Whoever ends up getting this job, I do not envy their position at all. Because they're going to be up shit's creek without a paddle, man. They're not going to know how to wrangle in all the different wings of the party. They're not going to know how to get stuff done. And let's just hope Americans are watching closely. Because if they are, they don't like what they're seeing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.